Inner Voice, a heartfelt chat with Dr. Foojan.
Introducing a powerful new update from the Foojan app. Now with flexible subscription plans to fit your journey monthly, quarterly, or yearly. Our new AI-driven onboarding customizes your path to feeling better, faster, and enjoy a refreshed experience with stunning 3D interactive videos. Update now. Empower your inner voice with Foojan. Download today.
Welcome to the Inner Voice, a heartfelt chat podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Foojan Zein. I'm a psychotherapist, an author, a coach, and the founder of the International Awareness Integration Institute. Today, Dr. Behnam Bakhsandeh is going to be joining me. He's an accomplished business professional and executive coach, known widely as a dynamic writer and a speaker with over 3 decades of hands-on experience in the personal and professional development industry, working with individuals, businesses, teams, and organizations. He holds a doctorate degree in workforce education and development from Pennsylvania State University. To date, he has published 14 books on related topics, drawing on his extensive experience and research. You will, if you go back to many of the podcasts that I've had him and some of his coworkers with brilliant books that they talked about different angles of how to work in the organization development. So today we'll actually be discussing a very notable book. It's called Awakened Leader, Uniting Organization Development and Awareness Integration Theory. Yes, you heard it right. Organization Development and Awareness Integration Theory. We came together and brought 30 years of his experience working with companies and teams and my experience of working with individuals, families, and businesses together and got you this book, which you'll see. We're going to be talking about it. So I hope that you get excited as much as the two of us were excited to bring these concepts together and write them for you. Now be sure to subscribe to my podcast and my YouTube channel and connect with me through my website and social media, foojanzain.com, awarenessintegration.com. Be sure to go and get the Foojan app. And I'm sure that you love the way the app works. We've been getting 70% to 75% improvement in the areas of life. Anyone who's used it. So go ahead. It's 3 days free. Just go and check it out. I'd love to hear from you. Now, without further ado, here's Dr. Behnam Bakhsandeh.
Listen up if you want to promote your personal growth and self-awareness. I found the Foojan app last month and I have been absolutely loving it. I personally have never learned guided meditation, but thanks to this app, I now have learned incredible tools for my own stress relief and emotional self-awareness. Not to mention, there are self-evaluation tools and professional coaching available to utilize however your journey to self-discovery takes you. Join Foojan today and redefine your life one step at a time.
Well, it's so nice to have you, Dr. Behnam Bakhsandeh.
Oh, thank you, Dr. Foojan. I appreciate your time. I'm always grateful for opportunities you provide. Thank you.
Thank you for the opportunity you created, which we created the Awakened Leadership book, Uniting Organization Development and the Awareness Integration Theory. I think it was something that was really, really needed for a long time. And we had spoken about it. You had graciously shared about the awareness integration theory in many of your books that you have published regarding the organization development. And then we said, hey, why don't we just create a whole book around it and really look at the details of how does this theory shows itself in
Yes.
Into the concept of the company from top C-levels, from the leaders, from the founders, all the way to mid-management, and then every single employee, and how it can shift the culture and bring the culture into a sense of responsibility, accountability, and integrity and authenticity.
Absolutely, absolutely. I'm a firm believer in all of my coaching practices, and even when I work with organizations and companies, small businesses, larger organization, I used to bring a lot of, as you know, philosophy, ontology, positive psychology, emotional intelligence. But when I was reading your material about integration awareness, I find it very effective by mixing into practices of coaching because contrary to many old-fashioned belief, human psyche have a lot to do with the performance and productivity and relationship at the workplace and engagement and happiness. Fortunately, the new generation of workforce are much more aware of the well-being and psychological safety at work, which is a new trend in the entire new organization development. So when we talk about it, I remember over breakfast somewhere we were talking about how could we use these two great concepts and mix them and use them. And I am very pleased at the outcome of the book that came out that actually managers and executives can use them directly in their organizations. However, I recommend to this kind of management, don't play psychologist or don't play coach. Hire somebody professional who deliver it for you. So it's so great.
Absolutely. Yes. But you do need a coach to be able to deliver this. Although, in the book, we really did assign many of the exercises where someone, in the HR or the company in any level who does read the book, they can really take a lot of the exercises and try to use them. But definitely, having a coach come in to any company to assess. And this is something that you do consistently through Prime Co-Education. And I think part of the most important factor is assessment. And I think part of the way the awareness integration works is that gives you some of the tools to assess and on a personal level. And then, the coach comes in and looks at the bigger picture of the company and assesses from the outside, which is a little bit more of an unbiased assessment versus someone who is, the creator of the company, the founder of the company, might have their own biases in the way that they're assessing. So part of it is the usefulness of a fresh eye that comes in and looks at things from a different angle through listening, through looking at every single employee and departments that are in a company. Whether, there's a small company, you can go to every employee or create a system for the employees to be able to respond so that you can listen, you can hear what is at stake, what makes them satisfied, what is it that they're choosing to be in your company, right? Like they had an option of being in many companies, but they chose your company to be an employee in your company. So to see what makes them satisfied. But on the other hand, also every single human being brings their own character, their own family background, their own, let's say, habits, some very profound that is workable and some probably more sabotaging. And everybody comes from different cultures, different backgrounds together. And they come into a culture of a company that they have to perform, they have to relate all day together, they have to collaborate together. So, if you just leave it up to whomever that shows up or whomever has a stronger personality, which is going to, force this concept to go forward, if you have a system that aligns all of this together, it's really to the benefit and the culture of the company as it goes, and then therefore productivity.
Absolutely. The good thing, the only outcome is the positive outcome. Because regardless of, even if resisting the change, through the process of the change, there is something will be implemented. As you were speaking, I was thinking about, okay, what would be the motivation that somebody would participate and engage, right, in the culture of organization, knowingly or not knowingly. There is a culture that's running the show in the organization. Be aware of it or not be aware of it. There is a differentiation between, for example, baby boomers generation, Generation X, and Generation Z recently. When you're looking at them as on the field, you can see the baby boomers, which I am personally included, kind of resisting it. Mostly they are old school, old fashioned. They don't want to talk about their feelings. They don't want to talk about experiencing emotions. They just want to put their head down and let's get to work, right? Then here come Generation X, which is more open to learning, but they are in a kind of generation that come from laid back, hippies, don't push the envelope kind of culture. That coming to Gen Z, that good luck if you can get any performance or productivity from them. They are more related to their mobile phone, cell phone, versus being related to other employees and their team, which is, in one way, organizations have to find their way to utilize that intention. That brings more presence of new technology to the culture. So we don't, as Americans say, don't throw the baby with the bathwater. In this case, some old school managers resisting Generation Z for the use of technology because they don't have awareness of benefits of that technology. Some of them, they can't even use the email. It's so hard for them to teach them use the email, which is form of, in the level of expanding technology. Email is in the column in the bottom now. There's everything, apps are out, mobile systems are out. So when you talk about assessment that is in some shape or form, in OD they call it diagnosis, which is almost the same thing. There is 7 or 8 different diagnosis models that have been used through the last 3 decades in understanding what's a problem, right? My own favorite that I always use in a individual level, team level, or organization level is the diagnosis of a human behavior. Individual, they call it individual and group behavior. Another favorite of mine is the model they call the great place to work. What makes a great place to work? They have 6 or 7 different elements on that, including fairness, including empathy, including honor and respect. These are the things that make people feel appreciated and the greatness is count. And the last one, I always use the good old SWOT analysis. The strength, the weaknesses, opportunities, and threat. So when we go to organizations, by the nature of OD, organization development, the system is bottom up, which is immediately cause resistance with the higher managers. Like, we have nothing to say. I said, no, you have nothing to say. What you need to say is to accept our system is a science. We didn't make it up. It proven in the last 3 or 4 decades. And trust our endorsements, our testimonials, or other companies like you that implemented OD and got a lot of good results. But it's not an overnight, it's not a weekend training, it's a process, which is the length of the process. It depends to the size of organization or team. OD come in 8 different levels. In our book, we talk about level 1, individual, which is the backbone of everything organization do. Without individuals, there is no team, there is no organization. So that is very important. Sometimes that individual approach covers the top decision makers to see how they decide and how they approach and how willing are they to accept the change or not. Then we talk about the team, which is another big element of OD. and the organization itself. So I can talk for hours about how we do the diagnosis, but this is the model we use the most for individuals and teams.
Yes, and I think for the individuals, it's very important for each individual to have the capability of assessing themselves, because I think that bottom line, we operate on subconscious level, 95% of the time. And we run the show in our own life and the way that we run our career or jobs in a very automated way. And I think that when the assessment shows up, that you have a tool to assess yourself. You have a tool about how I'm thinking, in the morning as I'm showing up this morning, am I motivated enough or not? Or what's going on with me as I come into work? How am I thinking, all the positive and negative ones? How am I thinking about the job itself? How am I thinking about, my coworkers, my boss, my company by itself, and my own life, and how the company influences my life and what kind of an impact I have also in the company? The feelings that show up for me, to honor them, to accept them, to understand, and really look at the way that I behave and the way that it impacts the world, and not, my world, which is possibly the team that I work with, and then how I impact my team this morning, how it's going to, impact the bigger company, and then therefore my compensations, the way the company impacts my life, and I vice versa impact its. And look at really what I'm in control. I think, with recent Gallup estimates or surveys, we really see that the amount of engagement across the globe, this isn't only about US, across the globe has really, really come down. And it shows that it's only 40% of people really engage, and that's even intermittent. And then we also get that the mid-management, again, globally, is no longer engaged. They feel kind of powerless in the middle. And I think mid-management usually gets the brunt, because they get it not only from the inner employees, they get sandwiched in the middle. So it's very easy to have a lack of motivation and feel stuck a lot of times. So they go into this automated concept, and they really don't capture the impact that they have, the influence that they have. So you could see that many companies, they just, people in the companies go into this routine behaviors and not necessarily assess whether these kind of routine behaviors they do in the meetings, the way they conduct the meetings, the way that they take in whatever it is from the meetings and go forward. Many people in the survey, when they've talked, the meetings usually for them is a waste of time. And they just sit there not engaging, and they kind of move back and do their own thing. And then we could see how the productivity, the morale of the company calms down. And then there becomes this blame game that consistently is always somebody else's fault, right? So we could find ourselves in that. And the top C's, they come in and okay, we're going to fire this group and we'll bring another motivated group. And then you'll bring another motivated group. But if the culture of the company is the same, you can ruin the motivation of a new person who comes in very quickly into the same format. So because of this, we could see how the awareness integration tools have really created where each of the individual is really assessing themselves, and they're making a choice about how am I choosing to impact every area, whether it's my relationship with my coworkers, my relationship with my boss, my relationship with the organization itself, and then to create systems within the company that fosters this type of awareness and this type of accountability that I'm important and I'm going to impact what's around me because I know my value and I'm bringing my value. But because of that, I also want you to know that I know your value. So this collaboration and appreciation of understanding each other's value, knowing that I can I have limits. This is what I'm good at. And that's why we're in a team, because I'm good at this, but you're excellent in that. And that's
Exactly.
why the team can come together and collaborate.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You talk about self-awareness and motivation. Let's go back to that 3 different generations that I brought up. I noticed that baby boomers generation mostly were motivated by loyalty. They are so loyal to the company. Sometimes even if when the company not doing well with them, they are still old school and loyal. And they believe on, I start here, I'm going to finish the same place. My company took care of me, pay my salary, pay my insurance, pay this and that. I bought my house. They are content, right? Even if they are not content, they don't show it because that royalty comes first for them, right? Gen X mostly thought about income and security at the job. And if they find somebody would pay more, this is all Gallup statistics I'm talking about. I'm not making it up, right? And if any better job show up, if they don't get it from the current company, they move on to next, right? But that Gen Z, statistically from the Gallup results, over 72% of them reported they don't care about the pay. If they don't have the psychological safety, if they don't have that appreciation and acknowledgement and rewards, which is not necessarily money, right? They move on. And they don't care if they go somewhere with a less pay. So here you and I want to make a difference with them with a 3 different generational mindset. What gonna make a difference, at least I can speak for myself from my experience, that collaborations that you highlight. It appeared to be very difficult to bring these 3 generations in one place, think as a team. So what I realized made a difference is, let me bank on what motivates you. Mr. Mrs. Old-fashioned, old school, loyal, would you like to make a difference with these kids, they call, with these kids, right? Teach them some of your values in 50s and 60s and 70s. What make you from a floor worker now becoming a supervisor? What did you do? Where you pay attention, right? How you gonna deliver that honor and royalty to these kids, younger generation? And for Gen Z, I would tell them, how could you make a difference with the older generation by being a mentor to them for new technology, right? When people talk to me about apps, I am ignorant. I don't know how to run it. Thank God for my kids and my daughter-in-law and son-in-law. I asked them to show me how to run an app, how to upload an app, how to do this in the cloud. Oh my God, right? However, when you bring this combination, it's a beginning of that dough we need to shape the culture of that organization. We cannot start building a culture if there is a resistance for every corner. So I always recommend the decision makers to 1, 2, 3 of them go to one-on-one individual intervention with me or with any other professional who they choose to work with, because they are the one that's going to make or break the process, right? And then that self-awareness that you were talking about, how do I make a decision? How do I use my thought process to bring it where the rubber meets the road? It means daily performance, daily productivity, is by collecting data. Collecting data is one of the biggest phases of OD. That will happen by one-on-one interviews, by focus group, by reviewing companies' history of employment. When was the last time raise came to people? What's the percentage of turnover? Is there any lawsuits? What is the biggest complaint in the exit interview? All this collection of information at least give you access to the current culture. Because it's so rare that the CEO said our culture sucks. No, they always said we have a great culture, but people don't follow it. Well, why are they not following it? As again, Gallup showed, 78% of the people leave in organizations because of the management, not because of the pay. So, Mr. and Mrs. Manager, you have to build some awareness to be help to creating that culture. Then on the focus group with the people on the area of junior management and the people on the floor, people who do the day-to-day brick and mortar work, talking to them. And the key factor is there, Dr. Foojan, is the safety, psychological safety. How could you ensure them they can say whatever they want to say? So I usually have a one-page legal document I sign first, and I ask them to sign that anything being said in this group never leave this group. Now, can I guarantee somebody would not gossip or somebody would not report anything anybody said? I cannot guarantee that, but I can guarantee nobody gonna hear it from me. And I'm asking you to sign that if your friend in your team said something, do not release it to somebody else. That process is the most valuable process of data collecting, because now you're hearing it from people who deal with the culture every day, 8, 10, 12 hours a day. And that is a bigger pill for organization to swallow. They come like surprise. We never tell them as confidentiality determined what people said. But we're going to bring that data to that 2 or 3 model of diagnosis and then literally highlighting what is so in common, right? What's better than that to tell you what culture you're dealing with? And then reporting it to the management and then asking same people to come with the idea of what they think organizations should do to resolve this issue. Between the entry, the signing the contract and entry to getting this report depend to the size of the company. We're talking about 3 to 9, even 12 months to really get to somewhere solid that we can work on, right? And as you mentioned, keep asking them, what is the motivation behind what you say? What is the motivation behind your complaint, right? What is the source of you declaring this is missing and this is needed? Making them work. And you can hear these rusty gears making noise because nobody asked them about that. Everybody said, what do you like, what do you don't dislike? What is good, what is bad? What is right, what is wrong? Very limited inquiries into these very limited elements, right? But when you give them opportunity to express their feeling and emotions, it becomes real. It's very hard for me to explain how your system of awareness integration with a company with the positive psychology and OD level of diagnosis work. But you see it on the court, the light goes up. You can see they see something that they never saw before. That's why, good or bad, they call it intervention. Individual intervention, team intervention. Some people don't like the word intervention because the public knows as the drug intervention or alcohol intervention. It's not a bad word, but literally it's intervening by people's psyche and thinking.
Everyone, awaken leadership, uniting organization development an awareness integration theory by Dr. Bakhsandeh and myself. So when we are talking about the intervention, which is, like you said, to bring in new tools, pretty much, to look at what is, what can be, and where each person wants to go. So obviously, the company has created a mission statement, which that mission statement, it's supposed to be at the core of the culture they want to create. Sometimes people have the mission statement, but they're not necessarily engaging always within their own mission statement. It's almost, okay, we set it up and it's somewhere on a wall and that's pretty much it. But to actually look at what was my intention when I created this? And most of the people, obviously, when they create a company, it isn't, yes, it is business and a profitability, but it is somehow a contribution to their world. They think something is missing, or it's not missing, something that has never been there, and I'm creating, which is going to be beneficial to the world. And that's why I'm bringing it into the world. And anyone who is starting a company, they know that they're not a one-person show. So a company means that I'm going to go and create a space where I'm going to bring talented people who can not only offer their talent to this company and to the product and to the people who are utilizing it. And I think that the excitement of the beginning of creating a company somehow removes itself. Obviously, we go into the nitty-gritty of the day. But I think one aspect of the awareness integration model, it keeps bringing you back to what is your cause? What is it that you're bringing? And how is it that when you are thinking and feeling a particular way, how is it that when you do a particular act, you create some result out of this? Now, some of it can be, the result shows up and you like it and it's positive and other people like it. And some of it you see immediately, if you're watching and you're really holding yourself accountable, immediately that the way I said this, the way I did this, it had a negative impact. And instead of, blaming others, if I can keep looking at how I can keep making myself better and better based on the goal that I'm also bringing. So the company has a goal, each department has a goal, but I also, as an individual, regardless of my role in the company, have a goal of why I'm here. One, my goal could be in my bigger picture of my job and career and how it fits in my life. Two, my goal as I'm connecting with this company every day, the hours that I'm here, what is it that I want to create? And then to assess whether the way that I'm thinking, feeling, and behaving is aligned with what I say my goal is. And how can I see this is the impact, the result I create. If the result came exactly the way I wanted it and based on my goal that I set I was going to do, then yeah, it's an alignment. So it worked. And if it's not, then I got to keep going back and seeing what didn't work and how can I go back and look at what works. And maybe I don't have the skills. Maybe I need somebody to tell me. Maybe I can go and look at what it is. I've had people who have been promoted into management positions, never been in management, never studied management, never had it. And part of our work together is, well, how are you doing this? It's like winging it. They're just winging it because they wanted to become a manager, and they were in a role of an employee because they were so good at this position. They got promoted to the management position, but they don't have the skills of the management. And when they fail, then they feel bad. They think they're a failure. The company thinks they're a failure. They think they were set up by the company and the higher management. They think they were set up by the employees. And they go into this win world, which is, okay, that was unnecessary. Let's just look at, you chose to take this promotion, but do you have the skills? And if you don't, then there's two ways. Either you got to request, and the company's got to bring this concept of, yes, if you're promoting someone, can you also offer them these other skills for management of the position you're asking, or at least pay for them to go to another company to take the courses, or the person really realizes, I don't have these, and possibly I can take some online courses. Maybe I can go back to school. Maybe I can do different things because I chose to take this job as a manager. So you could take on some accountability about how your growth is, where you're not growing, and how can you help yourself create that growth for you and move forward. And that's where the piece shows up, where you're getting an individual assessment. And I know organization development has created such an amazing and impeccable assessment and diagnostic tools for the company's different level. And I think what awareness integration is adding to it is also all of these levels of individualized assessment tools, and then learning how to get the skill, and really looking at aligning yourself consistently with the goals that you have and you bring.
Absolutely. There's so much greatness in last several minutes that you speak. And I keep hearing myself, share vision, share vision. When an individual bring their personal goals and they see a match and link to company's goal, it's empowering. Companies, Dr. Foojan, have mission statement, but they don't have vision for it, right? When I told them, what is your vision statement? They have no idea what I'm talking about. That is, I bring some element of ontology and give them as an example. Your mission statement talking about what you're going to do. The vision statement going to talk about who I'm going to be while I'm doing my mission statement. I break it down. The vision statement is come from being, which is leadership, management, systems, managing the systems, and the background of what make your company great and what are you giving to people. The mission statement is a doing, is a procedures, is processes, is a work structure, right? Is about management. So there is a leadership, being, vision, and there is a management, doing, and mission. When you bring in that to the individuals who running the show, the nuts and bolts of organization, there is a what do you call it? The synergy is so strong that people don't think I'm going to work. People go to the place to be self-expressed. I tell people, you spend more time preparing to go to work, going to work, working, coming home, and then trying to release the thoughts from the work. This is half of your day minimum, right? So why not paying attention to half of your life to be self-expressed and happy, fulfilled, and have contentment? That's come bringing something like awareness integration theory to working with the OD theory and make it this possibility to arise for people to can make a living, decent living, and having a peace of mind and happiness. Happiness not necessarily having a flag and wave in the air. Happiness, it could be just going home, not being tired, maybe physically tired, but not mentally and emotionally. There's so much we can talk about this. It's amazing.
Yes. Well, everyone, go get this book. It's really an amazing book, not just because we wrote it, but we really get how people are using it and how it's manifesting greatness in their work and in their own psyche. So Awakened Leadership, Uniting Organization Development and Awareness Integration Theory, not therapy, by Behnam, Dr. Behnam Bakhsandeh, and me, Dr. Foojan Zain. You could get that in Amazon or wherever you get your books. Where could people find you?
primecoeducation.com is my website. look for Coach Behnam. I am in like 8-9 different social media sites. Easily email me at behnam@primecoeducation.com, and I am at your service.
Beautiful. Thank you so much for taking the time to be here with us.
Absolutely my pleasure. Thank you for your time. By the way, I gotta say something. You said this book is great, not because we write it. And I was thinking, why not? I have over 3 decades experience on business. You have over 3 decades experience in psychology. Why the heck not? You get over 60 years of professionalism. For what? $50 value of the book.
Absolutely. Well, thank you for that correction. For all of you who are out there, create an amazing life for yourself and everyone around you. And until next week, bye-bye.
Intentional Parenting, a practical guide to awareness integration theory, written by Dr. Jafari, Dr. Foojan Zain, and Dr. Manoukian, 3 experts in human development, is your step-by-step guide to raising a healthy child prepared for a culturally integrated world. You're supported in parenting infants to adolescents using the latest evidence-based scientific research on parenting. Order your copy on Amazon now. Are you a psychotherapist looking to enhance your practice? The Awareness Integration Therapy developed by Dr. Foojan Zain is a comprehensive guide to the principle and techniques of this powerful therapeutic approach. Join the growing community who have elevated their practice and expanded their skills by embracing awareness integration therapy and witnessing its life-changing impact. Order your copy on Amazon now.